Do you know how to write a wedding timeline that is going to excite people, engage them, and inspire them to do their very best work? I do. Hello, my friends. My name is Andrea Eppolito. Welcome back to my channel where we celebrate life, luxury, and above all else, love. I am by trade a wedding planner and an event designer, and I take such pride in my timelines. Now, a timeline is the Bible. It is the guiding principle that takes you and your couple through the entire set of experiences that they're going to have when the wedding actually is in production, when you're going live. Now, from my days in hotels 400 years ago when I was a wizard and much too young to be working, we used to do group resumes. This was a document that was created internally and then sent out to all of the different departments, everyone from valet to the front desk to banquets and porters and room service. We wanted to make sure that all of our team members knew who the VIPs were, what the players were doing, what they needed, what their priorities were. And so I took that and I applied it to my timelines. Now, over the years, I have had so many people come to me and say, why did you send me a 26-page timeline? I don't need all of this information. You may not feel like you need all the information as a vendor, but as a planner and as a designer, I not only really believe that you need it, but I am going to hold your feet to the fire, force you to deep dive into it, because this document, when written well, when done well, is really going to not hinder you. It's not built to stop you from doing something cool. Instead, it gives you the solid foundation that allows you to do your best work when everybody has all the information. Information is power. Information gives you the ability. It's like when you know the rules, now you know how to break them. When you've seen the boundaries, now you know where to push. By giving you this, by forcing you to go through it, I make you think about the couple. I want you to understand who they are. You're not shooting anyone's wedding. You're shooting this wedding for this couple in this room. It will never happen again. And so timeline creation is something that I take really, really seriously. A couple of you reached out and asked about timelines and about processes. So once again, I'm going to take you behind the scenes into my computer and I'm going to show you what I do right here. Check it out. All right, so up on the screen, I have two documents. I have Megan and Casey's old timeline from 2 years ago, and I have my master timeline. I'm going to show you the finished product first, and then I'm going to show you how we actually use it. Now, once again, is there timeline software out there that you can buy? Yes, there is. Are there downloads that you can use? Yes, there are. Do I use them? No. Why? Because I wanted to build everything in my business from scratch. Yes, I think that there are tools out there that you can borrow and mimic and make your own. But 10 years ago when I started, that stuff simply didn't exist. I knew that I wanted to create a process that was just as important as the pretty. And so I went in, I created this in Numbers. You could easily create it in Excel, Word, Pages, or anything like that. But if you are a vendor, if you are somebody that is working one of my weddings, you're gonna get this in an email. And the first thing that you're gonna find is a cover page. So up top, I'm gonna have my information and my logo because everything that I do is branded. Below, I'm gonna give the name of the couple, the location of the wedding, and the date. Next page, how to use this timeline and what's missing. Now, yeah, it's a timeline. Got it. It's gonna tell me what happens when. It's more than that. I want people to review their timeline twice. Once, I want them to get an overview and an understanding of the weekend and what's happening. Then I want them to go in and I want them to really focus on what they are doing at the wedding. So, do you see any potential problems that are not addressed in this timeline? Do you have any specific needs? Some people need additional power. Some people are going to need breaks. Some people are vegan and need a special menu. Is there a partner whose work is going to impact your ability to do your job? Perfect example. I 100% believe that photo and video have to have a really good rapport, because when you're both trying to get the shot, I don't want people jockeying for who's going to be in front or who's going to be on the side, or it's my shot or I take precedence. It's a dance you perfect with time, and there's a way to move around each other. So if I have a photographer and a videographer who potentially have not met and worked together before, I want to connect them so that they have an opportunity to discuss how they can each be set up for success. I make sure that we have a conversation in advance, and then I ask, based on this document, are there any creative ideas that you would like to explore? When we go through this, if you're the musician, or if you're the lighting tech, or if you're the catering company, hopefully all the information that I give you kind of sparks something, and you're going to see it from fresh eyes. You're going to see it in a way that I don't. And you're going to say, you know what would be cool? And that's a conversation that we should have before the event, when there's still time to add the cool in. So we go through, I do let people know that I send out a questionnaire to everybody before and after the wedding. So this just sets the vendors up to know what's coming. Now we talk about our couple. Now, this is directly from the idea of a hotel resume. Why is it so important? I have a gorgeous photo of my couple. This isn't random. These are the people that we work for. These are the people that we work with. This bride, this groom, this is our why for the entire weekend. And so I do go in and I write a love story. And I tell you about them. I explain to you how they fell in love, how they got engaged, because I want you to fall in love with them the way they fell in love with each other. I want you to have a really true vested interest in making their names the most important, their day the most important. And then I go through and I give contact information. Now this is everybody who's working, what their job is, what they're doing, what their phone numbers are, their email, and I always include the social handle. Why? Because social media, social proof is real and it matters. So anyone who's working on this wedding should be able to shout out, blow up, and communicate with everybody else. There are no secrets. There's one hand always knows what the other is doing. And this is how relationships are made. This is how friendships are born. So now we go into the timeline. I oftentimes have load-ins happening a day before. You may or may not, but my timeline does typically start 1 or 2 days before. So on this particular wedding, we talked about how load-in was happening at 10 a.m. Carpet was going in first, then drape was going all the way up to the ceiling. That's an important note. Drape doesn't always go all the way up to the ceiling. If and when it does, it typically requires rigging. So things like that go into the timeline. When is the bride leaving? Where is she going? Who's doing behind the scenes footage? Anything that's happening. If we're having a behind the scenes experience, we talk about what we're doing. You guys know that I create a lot of behind the scenes videos. This talks about that. It tells when I'm returning to the Waldorf, what time the rehearsal starts, when tour buses are coming, when we have people going to valet, who's going where, what are they doing, why does it matter? So this goes through the entire day. Then we go through the actual wedding day. I always have certain things. Wake up and eat something. Why? Because in 10 and 20 years, I've seen so many people have that nervous energy and the adrenaline, and they don't eat. Or worse, they drink and they don't eat. You have to be able to stay present. You have to not get sick. You have to not get wobbly. You have to eat something in the morning. I note when I'm arriving, what I'm walking through, when, where. Is there a sound check? When does hair and makeup come? Everything that has to happen at this wedding is listed. The fact that in this particular ceremony, the bride and groom were reversed and standing on different sides than what a traditional Western wedding would have. I give the list of the bridal party. How are they walking in and who with? I call out the songs so that everybody in their head knows what's coming. If you read this over and over and over again, if you work on it over and over again, it becomes muscle memory. So now on the day of, I don't have to check my watch and go, ooh, what happens when? I know it. I know that when I'm hearing Make You Feel My Love, I know that the next song is going to mean something else. I know that love never felt so good moves me into something else. I know when I hear Justin Bieber come on that it's the end. These are the cues. These are the sensory notes that I want to have, that I want everyone to have. I note the room flip. I put who's getting announced. How are they walking in? What are they doing? Is there music that we are not listening to? This couple had a song they did not want to hear. We had a live singing of the national anthem, which I have to tell you, if you haven't done it at your weddings, is a must. It is a spectacularly moving experience. When are we cutting the cake? Who's dancing to what, when, and how? And then I put special notes. Photo and video, we may extend. What time are we breaking down? When are we cleaning up? And then I have notes and credits. Again, there are people who've contributed to the wedding. There are businesses that need to be acknowledged that may not be part of the timeline because it doesn't make as much sense. So, perfect example. I want everybody to know in social media that Bagley Mishka did the bride's ceremony dress and that she wore a Galia Lahav for the reception. I want the shoes noted. I want the jewelry noted. I want the groom's tux noted. So anything that's a note or a credit that doesn't belong on the contact sheet goes here. And then I want people to be excited. I want the vendors, all of the partners, everyone who has not seen everything that I've seen. This is where I give them a sneak peek. This is where I give them a reveal. This is the inspiration. This is the vision. This is what we're going for. This is my color palette. These are things that you can expect to see in the reception. This is the chair. This is the silverware, the plateware. Cake inspiration, tree inspiration. Everything that I have been looking at, that I have pulled, goes here. And then I have a deliverables list. Now, why is this so important? I have ordered tens of thousands of dollars for this particular wedding of stuff. And it only works if it's all there. So what if the deliverables are coming in from the Waldorf Astoria and I am dealing with a hair and makeup crisis? Or what if Javier is loading into the pre-function space and I'm in the back explaining to the chef that we have a last minute allergy pop-up? Anyone from my team should be able to go in and check in all of the items on the list. So everything is here. All of the details, the rentals that are going through Javier, the rentals that are coming through Party Palace, anything that I need lives on this page so that it can be checked in. I give diagrams so that people know what gets laid out where. I have tables that are numbered. I have the pre-function space laid out with bars. I even go through and say who's seating where and when. Now why? Because not everybody picks up an escort card. Not everybody pays attention. Some people pick it up, they have a drink, they put it down, it's gone. So if you walk into the room and you go, I don't know where I'm sitting. Well, guess what? Somebody from my team knows. So we're able to take you through and walk you in on all of this. And then last but not least, I have a video and a shot list. Now, what is this and why is it important? I want the dresses on forms. The dresses were really important, and so I've bought actual mannequin forms that make them look beautiful. I want the stationer to be photographed. I have groupings that I want. I have the bride before the ceremony. I want the bride and the bridesmaids in robes. I want the bride with each bridesmaid individually, and then I want them in a group. So this is very specifically for photo and video so that they don't miss a shot. How do they know what's really important and meaningful to the couple unless we tell them? And how do they know what's really important and meaningful to me? I have all of these pictures that need to get taken, but it has to be fast so that I can flip the space. So there's call outs throughout this entire document. And then I give samples of the photography. How does my bride want it to look? How does she want it to feel? What images is she looking to get? Now, if you have seen this particular wedding, we did a whole series on it. It was beautiful. It was stunning. It was everything we wanted, and it was more. And it was that way because we had a document like this that walked us through the process. So if you are a couple or if you are a new wedding pro, what do you set up? What's important to have on yours? So let's take you through it. This is my master document that I have created in numbers. Again, I have my branding. I can fill in the name of my couple. the venue, and the date. I go into my client profile. I will drop a photo of my couple here, and then I'll write up who they are, why it matters, how did they fall in love, why did they pick this venue, why did they pick this photographer, what really matters to them. I want this to go to everybody, because if in the morning of the wedding, the groom has nervous energy and he's wandering through the hotel and he stumbles into the ballroom, if you have his picture here and you're a reporter, you see it and you know that's the groom, that's a VIP. If you see a bride wandering around and she looks frantic, you know she's the bride, you know she needs something. You're able to identify the people that matter so that you can service them the best. Contacts. I want my information. I want all of the coordinators' information. I want who's handling the ceremony, the reception. I want my catering contact. If I have a wedding cake coming in from the outside, I want that noted. I want the officiant, the florist, rental and decor, production, and that's if I'm building walls or sound stages or staging or anything like that. I have a lighting contact. I have a photography person and a video person. I may have live musicians, bands, DJs, other entertainment, photo booths and portrait stations, master hair and makeup. Now that's sometimes I will have a bride who wants a master beauty team just for her. So it's a hair and makeup artist that does nothing but tend to the bride. I also have a supporting beauty team for bridesmaids, moms, grandmas, things like that. I have paper and stationery, and then I have branding experts. So anyone who is going to be in production on the day of the wedding ends up on this document. I want who they are, the name of their company, the name of the person who's actually responsible that I'm going to be speaking to on the day. I want their phone number. I want their email address, and I want their social handle. So as I fill this out, if I realize, oh, I don't have the social for the cake person, or I only have the office number, I don't have the cell number for the lighting tech, that's information. This makes sure that I'm not missing anything. Then we move to the timeline. So let's just assume you're doing a timeline just for the day of the wedding. Good morning, wake up and eat something. There are things that happen at every single wedding. There are things that are going to take place for everyone. Everyone is going to wake up. That's pretty self-explanatory. Everyone should be eating something. The wedding planner is going to arrive at every event, we hope. Hair and makeup is going to come. So there are things that for the most part are always going to be kind of a given. So waking up, my team arriving, hair and makeup starting, my support team typically arrives later than I do, but maybe this is a day where there's a lot happening and I need them with me. So I can just grab this cell and I can move it. When does photo arrive? When does video arrive? At what point do florals get delivered? When do the personals get delivered? Those are the bouquets and the boutonnieres. The groom is going to get dressed typically first because he's easy. You put him in his tux, he's done. The bride typically takes a little bit longer. Are we having a first look? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, I can go in here to the notes section and I can say, first look at the tree. Or I could say, meeting in the lobby and go to pool. Or maybe the first look is in a private villa and the number is TBD. Now, if there's something that's TBD, I'll go in and I'll take that cell and I'll highlight it because I know that I need to look at that again later. I need to go back and get that information. Bridal party photos, DJs and musicians arriving, officiant arriving, handling paperwork. You're always going to have receiving music playing. The ceremony will begin. People will walk down the aisle. Maybe we don't have any kids at the wedding, and maybe the parents are not going to be walking down the aisle. So I can just delete that. Maybe the officiant is walking in alone and the groom and best man are walking in second. Because we have a really solid, I spelled officiant wrong. There we go. Because we have a solid base, because everything is laid out, because we're not going to miss anything, that gives us the freedom to play. It gives us the freedom to make choices, to make changes, to personalize it specifically for this wedding. So we'll go through and we'll say, what time does the ceremony start? What time does it end? When does cocktail hour begin? Make sure you build in time for photo and video to shoot the reception and the room. You have to give your photo and video team at least 15 minutes to shoot details. Put it on your timeline in advance so that it doesn't get lost. Make sure that you know when the dance set begins. What's the plan for getting people on the dance floor? Are we bringing them all out at first? Are we bringing them later? Are we starting with a slow song? This gives you an opportunity to have a conversation with your entertainer. Wedding cuttings, bouquets and garters, I put it here because it's always a conversation. And I always delete it because I don't like it. If somebody really, really wants it, obviously we do it. But I think that there are more interesting ways to tell your story than with a bouquet and a garter toss. So we always kind of pull from that. Last dance, fond farewell, anything else. I have the section for notes. This will make sure I don't forget anything. It'll also give me an opportunity to note any heirlooms that may or may not be included. I drop my inspiration boards in. I drop my diagrams in. I outline all of my deliverables. I go through a photography shot list with the couple and I say, okay, well, obviously my bride wants a photo of herself. Then I want my bride and mom. Then I want my bride and dad. Then I want the bride with mom and dad. And she goes, oh, my parents are divorced. They don't get along. Whoopsie, not a problem. So we're going to do bride and mom with date, bride with dad and stepmom. This is where we fill in the details. This is where we go through and we say, what do we need and how do we get it? Because once I do my shot list, once I know that, you know what, this is a very small family, we don't have a whole lot of images, I don't need as much time after the ceremony to take those pictures. I can then use that to get some extra portrait time with my bride and groom. Maybe I bring them into the room and I photograph them in the space. Either way, I go through, I lay all of this out, I export it into the piece that you just saw, and now I send it out to all of my vendors. We have an opportunity to have a conversation that really, really matters. I think we're getting a special guest today. Let's see. Come here, baby. Come here. Hi. Hi. Okay, so I normally would edit him out, but he's so cute. Oh my goodness. He's also a big boy. Oh, this is my boy. This is my handsome man. Say hi, handsome. Hi. Mwah. And he gets very sad when I'm working and he has to be alone. But yes, yes. All right, you go back and play. So that's timelines, and I think that that is time for me today because somebody small and beautiful needs some attention. So if you have any questions about timelines, if you have any questions about how to set them up, how to deploy them, how to use them, and really what makes them work, go ahead and reach out to me. I am always in the comments below. I love this job. I love this industry. I love the people that I do it for, the people that I do it with, and my entire reason for existing, especially here in this place on this channel, is to help make the world a more beautiful place, one wedding at a time. And I think that right now that means helping a lot of other wedding pros with their business. Yes, you can probably see I'm getting hives. I'm allergic to my dog. That's okay also. But I just love it. I love what we do. I love that we get to do it together. So thanks for spending your day with me. If there's anything else you need, you can always reach me here. You can email me. Until next time, my friends, celebrating life, luxury, and above all else, love. You have a great day.